What's going on, everybody? This is Marcus. Before I get started, I want to thank you guys so much for your support. It really means a lot to me, and I love you guys so much. For those who are new to my channel, and for those who are seeing it for the first time, make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications whenever I drop a video, and we're gonna always keep this thing rolling. So thank you guys. So let's talk about Dr. Doom. So according to what I just heard and what I heard through the YouTube community grapevine, that Victor Von Doom is going to get his own movie in the MCU. This was actually broke by radio shock jock Howard Stern, and according to the reports that I just read, Howard's going to play Dr. Doom. I was like, what? What's going on here? So I was thinking to myself, like, how they're going to pull this off, because it's epic, but then again, it's going to be strange at the same time, because I know Howard's a comic book fan, and of course, for those of you who know who he is, or for those who don't know who he is, just look him up. It won't take long. He's definitely a household name. Been in the industry for many years, a good 30 plus years for sure. But he's pretty much known for talking about all kinds of things between politics and whatnot, entertainment and everything. So, but I can't really see Howard playing an epic villain like Victor Von Doom. I mean, the only person that came close to playing him was Julianne McMahon from the first two Fantastic Four movies, and he did a pretty good job for that time. Howard Stern, don't want to be critical about it, but I can't see it. But then again, we're gonna have to see how they're gonna pull this off, though. So, but Warren Thompson from Cosmic Wonder was talking about the exact same thing. So we're gonna go ahead and hear him out and talk about the rumor itself. So, without further ado, let's get right into it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and today we have some pretty epic, but also kind of strange, weird news today about Dr. Doom and a Dr. Doom project currently being in the works. And if it's what we think it is, it's gonna be kind of weird. And if you've heard this news, you know exactly what I'm talking about, although we are going to dive into some other things involving Dr. Doom today. So stick around, I'll put some clarity on the situation. And if you haven't heard the news, it looks like they have cast Dr. Doom, and Doom could be played by Howard Stern. And if you don't know who that is, look him up real quick, and you'll all of a sudden think that, wow, this is very interesting. But Howard Stern has his own show, The Howard Stern Show, and during one of the commercials, one of the ad breaks, he accidentally left his mic on, where he was talking about how he is playing Dr. Doom for Marvel and how he talked to Robert Downey Jr. So it certainly sounds like a Doom project is in the works at Marvel Studios, and that is what we've actually been hearing recently. Rumbles about Doom being the main villain, and that makes sense because the Fantastic Four are coming. And typically you don't have the Fantastic Four without their main villain, Dr. Doom. However, since the Fantastic Four have been done before, Marvel Studios might switch it up just a little bit. And if they've truly cast Howard Stern as Dr. Doom, one, it's an incredibly interesting choice, and two, I'd like to know what you think about this, so let me know right away, right now in the comments down below. But let's talk about a few options of what this could actually mean. And first, let's start off by playing the actual audio that has Howard Stern saying all of this.
They're going over the schedule right now for 20% off your first order. I mean, 20% off at TommyJohn.com. I told you when I do Dr. Doom. TommyJohn.com/SXM. That's the thing. But I don't even believe me. Miserable about it. I don't even. You listen to the Stern Show on your radio. Because I'm an asshole. Well, that's what I did on America's Got Talent. That's right. You listen to the Stern Show on your radio. Are you excited? Well, yeah, I called Robert Downey Jr. and I said, like I was asking him acting technique. Do you have a number for John?
So in case you couldn't hear that perfectly clear, because of course there were ads playing over it, because his microphone was actually not supposed to be on. That's
his mic was actually supposed to be off. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do this. It's an interesting choice for sure. I mean, I could definitely see Howard playing a villain, especially giving a serious role. But as far as like just, you know, the overall look, he can pretty much do it and pull it off for sure. He did mention about getting actual training, but We'll see how that goes, but let's continue hearing him out.
How this all got out. Here's what he actually said. They're going over the schedule with me, and it's going to suck. Then somebody asks if he's going to be working, and he says, I told you I'm going to do Dr. Doom. That's the thing. But believe me, I'm...
What do you want? We got the ads real quick.
I don't hate.
Pay the bills. But yeah, let's go back. Here we go.
It's going to suck. Then somebody asks if he's going to be working, and he says, I told you I'm going to do Dr. Doom. That's the thing. But believe me, I'm effing miserable about it. I called Robert Downey Jr. and was asking him acting techniques. Do you have a number for John? And we assume this is John Favreau, but Howard Stern knows everybody. He could be talking about literally any John. So this is really, really interesting. This is coming directly from him, and he is saying that he's going to be doing Dr. Doom. Now keep in mind right here, this is kind of a crucial and very important part. He says he's going to do Dr. Doom. He doesn't actually say that he's going to be playing the role of Dr. Doom. He says he's going to do Dr. Doom. So that right there means that he could be referring to Dr. Doom simply as the movie. He could be doing the movie. He could be acting in the movie, not actually playing Victor Von Doom himself. Because I gotta tell you, although I have nothing against Howard Stern at all, I don't think he'd make a really good Dr. Doom. Plus, not to mention, he doesn't really act. It's not like he's an actor. He is a host. He hosts his show. He was on America's Got Talent as one of the judges, which of course is somewhat acting, but he doesn't have any, main acting jobs under his belt or any major huge roles under his belt as well, which you would assume with Marvel Studios, whoever they would cast as Dr. Doom would have some major acting experience behind them, even if it's small roles and it's a relatively unknown actor. You can assume that that actor has a lot of experience still. So this may mean that he's simply involved in the project but not playing Dr. Doom. But let's talk about the options like I mentioned. One is that he actually could be playing Dr. Doom. Of course, that is an option based off of what he has said. He even says that he called Robert Downey Jr. to talk about acting techniques, but that right there is kind of a sign to me that he's not going to be playing the main Victor Von Doom. Again, he doesn't have that much acting experience, and if you have to call somebody else to talk about acting techniques, you're not getting cast as a main role for Marvel Studios. You're just not. Now, a smaller role, sure, there's absolutely a possibility that he's going to be in this Dr. Doom project, which I believe is what's happening here. So that's our second option. He is simply playing another character. And this character could be a small character. It could be a character who is there every now and then. Maybe like a henchman of Dr. Doom or an assistant for Dr. Doom.
Or he could play himself.
But basically not the main role. And now I've heard some people say, well, maybe he's simply working on the film or the project, but not actually playing any type of role in it. Well, he does say he calls Robert Downey Jr. and he asks him about acting techniques. So based off of that right there, I would definitely say that he is playing in an acting role and not simply just working on the movie. Now, another thing that could be happening here that I haven't really heard a lot of people mention is that he could be doing a different Doom project that is not taking place inside of the MCU. We know that Marvel has podcasts. They have the Wolverine podcast, which is really good. If you haven't heard that, I suggest you check it out.
It's a great one, by the way.
Well. So this very well could be
Wolverine
for
project.
A podcast. It also could be for some type of different show. It could be for an animated show. We know that Marvel Studios is doing What If 2. It very well could be for that. We know that they're doing another Spider-Man animated show, an X-Men animated show. He could be voicing Dr. Doom in any of these shows. And that could be what he is referring to when he says, I'm doing Dr. Doom. Now, as far as my take is concerned, I actually do think he is talking about an MCU Dr. Doom project, but I do not believe he is playing Doom. The reason that I think it is an MCU project is because he does talk about talking to Robert Downey Jr. He says he called Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. And then he was asking for John's number, and I do assume that it's John Favreau, who has just been a huge staple to the MCU. And to Star Wars and Lucasfilm, but we're talking about Marvel right now. So again, I don't think that Howard Stern would be cast as Dr. Doom. If you think about it, it just really doesn't make that much sense. One, he doesn't have the acting experience for it, and Marvel Studios isn't going to bring in actors who aren't really actors. Don't get me wrong, like I said, Howard Stern is great at what he does, but he's not an actor, he's a host. So that doesn't make too much sense. One is that he doesn't really have the build or look for Victor Von Doom. And I mean this in no offense to him, but he's too old for the role. This is like talking about Hugh Jackman coming back to play Wolverine. Well, he's too old for the role right now. And I think most people would agree that Howard Stern just is kind of too old for the role. We need a Dr. Doom who's going to be in the MCU for 10 years. maybe even longer. Hopefully everything is going to eventually lead up to God Emperor Doom, one of the greatest comic book villains of all time, and especially if this is going to be leading up to Avengers Secret Wars. So what I believe has happened here is that Howard Stern has simply confirmed that a Doom project is in the works. I do not think he is playing Dr. Doom, but what this has shown us is that Dr. Doom is coming to the MCU, which is fantastic and has actually been rumored for some time now. A lot of the insiders have been posting tweets talking about Dr. Doom, and they've said that he's coming sooner than we think. And this right here just proves that they were right. It looks like a Dr. Doom project is in the works, and they've already cast for it, which is the crazy part, because if they've cast Howard Stern in some other role, they've probably cast Victor Von Doom, which means the MCU has their Dr. Doom. Who do you think it could be? Who do you think would make a good Dr. Doom? There are a lot of good casting choices out there, and like I always say, in Feige we trust. He's always cast very well for these roles.
Yep,
I'm not
that's
really
true.
worried about who they cast, but I am excited to find out. But hit me with
too.
your best guess down below. Let me know who you would like to.
Yeah, and like I said, Dr. Doom is an epic villain. I would say he's practically almost close to Darth Vader rankings, because he's definitely one of the most popular villains in the Marvel Universe for sure. And there's like so many villains in the Marvel Universe as well. But Dr. Doom is not only epic, and nothing against Howard Stern himself, but like I can probably see Howard at least voicing over if they ever do, like, let's say a what if, and well, they're going to do a what if season 2, but let's say Dr. Doom shows up in season 2 of What If. I can see Howard voicing Doom because he has experience of voice work, because he's been in radio and TV, and he's also done other projects for so long. He can be credible for it. So I can see him doing that. But as far as like playing Dr. Doom himself, I would say unless he gets tips, and of course it's already been proven that he was talking to Robert Downey Jr., of course, but unless he gets acting tips, especially from someone like, let's say, Julian McMahon, who's played Dr. Doom in the past, then the chances are he probably won't be able to do it anyway. So, but I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this. And again, nothing against Howard Stern. Howard's a legend, and considering the fact that he's done like radio and everything for so many years, and he's also done America's Got Talent and everything else where he plays the judge, I mean, he can pretty much do it. I mean, he knows everybody. So, I mean, in a sense, it's like I know people. Howard knows people, you know. He knows like a lot of people, though. So, but yeah, but as far as like the connections goes, I know for sure Dr. Doom is definitely coming to the MCU. And considering the fact that they're talking about doing a movie about Doom already, he's definitely going to show up one way or another. And then Emperor God Doom will be pretty awesome too, which will definitely lead to Avengers Secret Wars down the line himself. So, but yeah, but basically just not talking about like age or whatever the case may be. But again, Howard Stern's a legend. I can actually see him voicing Dr. Doom if they actually do an animated series about Doom. And just like I said, they're going to do a What If Season 2. Well, they're going to do What If Season 2, but if they're going to bring in Doom, for What If Season 2, whenever he comes to the MCU, Howard can voice him. So, but it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with that, though, because there's just so many options when it comes to stuff like this, though. So, but yeah, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see it. I'm definitely can't wait to see the Fantastic Four movie for sure whenever they decide to do it for next year when it drops. But yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, nothing against Howard Stern. He's a hilarious guy. So, like I said, unless he gets like tips to pretty much like play a serious character like Victor Von Doom, who's basically has like a really royal background, but also as far as like a tragic background in the sense that, you know, you go back to the fact that, you know, Doom comes from Bavaria. At first, you know, he was a little boy. His father was killed. His mother was sentenced to Inferno for all eternity by Mephisto, and Doom's trying to do whatever it takes to get his mom back and everything. So Doom becomes a ruler of his own country. He's considered a hero by some, but in certain states he's considered to be an enemy. So I can pretty much see Howard, I mean, if he wants to actually, you know, turn the tables, especially if he gets enough acting experience, he can definitely pull it off. So, but first time I saw it, honestly, guys, I was just laughing like, wait, what? Howard Stern playing Dr. Doom? Get out of here, man. That's going to be interesting, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, Howard's a comic book fan, for sure. I mean, he talked about it many times in the past. And then considering the fact that he has contacts in Marvel Studios anyway, I mean, it kind of makes sense. So, but I'm curious, guys. You know, I'm curious to see where this is gonna go. So, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. You guys fascinated to see Howard Stern playing the most iconic villain in the Marvel Universe? Just let me know what you guys think and comment down below. But if I get any more news concerning Dr. Doom and other projects coming up, I'll let you guys know for my next video for sure, though. But also, I'm very excited to see Thor: Love and Thunder. Definitely can't wait to see that. It's definitely coming out next week in my area. So I know it's already out in other cities right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. So I'm going to avoid spoilers as much as I can. So that way I can pretty much like know what to expect. But I can't wait to see Gord and Thor and Jane Foster and Valkyrie and Korg and everyone else. So it's going to be pretty awesome. And then the Guardians too. So I'm looking forward to seeing Thor: Love and Thunder. So gonna get my ticket and take it from there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Howard Stern playing Dr. Doom. And on top of that, let me know what you guys think. I love you guys so much. Thank you all for the support. For those who see my video for the first time, share it, spread the news, do what you guys gotta do. You guys know what to do. I love you guys so much. I'll catch y'all on the next one.